Hi everyone, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Hello, wonderful people. Good evening.
Good evening
Hello.
po.
Good
Hi.
evening.
Hi, good evening. Good. I can hear you guys as well. And absolutely, you can hear me too. Good evening, everyone. Hi, good evening. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Okay, so yes, for today, so just like what you are seeing on your screen, so we'll be having a basic English language 101. So this is something that will go on for 5 days from Monday to Friday. Okay, and will be everything about the basic English language. And I'll discuss more later on what exactly we will be covering for this exact training that you guys will be having. But anyway, let me introduce myself first. So hi, my name is Larry. You can simply call me that. I will be the one to facilitate your basic English language training for this whole week. So hopefully you guys will be able to get something out of this particular training, either to help with your plans for future jobs that you're looking for, or at least just for self-development that you would want to achieve as well. So for our basic English language 101 not just for today, but for the whole week. So we will be covering everything basic about the English language, both on the written and also the speaking or the spoken language of English. So it will comprise of grammar, okay, punctuation marks as well, pronunciation as well, customer service skills also, that would also be a part of this particular training, and how to make your spoken language better in relation with your pitch, with your tone, the pacing that you have when you're speaking as well, and the additional tips that we have for that specifically with customer service related type of concern. Also, we'll cover small things about US geography, especially for those who are aiming to have the virtual assistant path, right? Because most of the clients that you'll have would be, of course, could be American clients or US clients. So it's always a good thing that you would be able to know something about their culture as well. Just tiny bit, of course, just the basic information that you need to know about. Okay, about US culture and geography as well. So that's actually everything that we will be having for the whole week. But of course, before we actually start, okay, the discussion and everything that you need to know about basic English language 101, of course, I would like to hear your voices as well. I would like to know some of you guys. And as we go on the days, I'll get to know more of you guys as well. So I'll have you guys do a bit of an introduction. Okay, so hopefully, even though you're going to be a bit nervous, some of you will be nervous, but everyone should be game with this type of exercise because it will help you as well. You would be able to know what your weaknesses are or what you're good at, what you should improve at, and more. Okay, so I have this particular introduction that I would want you guys to do. So we have this introduction right here. So you just simply follow the script that we have here. So hi, my name is, of course, your name. You can call me what do you want or what do you prefer to be called, and the nickname that you have. I am currently taking Bloody Mary's free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, were you working on a different company before? Are you still working in a different company? Or are you studying, a working student? Or did you previously just completed your studies? So there, I worked as or I studied. And of course, I am familiar with what are the particular tasks, tools, applications that you are familiar with or that you have as your skill. So it's time to brag about yourselves. So are you familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Or if there's other skills that are not listed here, so you can have that here in relation to others. Okay, and of course, after that, so during my spare time, I love doing this and that. Any hobbies or anything that you love doing these days, anything that you have discovered recently or that you're fond of recently during your spare time, apart, of course, from work related activities, right? So, there. So, you just simply need to follow the script that we do have here. So, you're just simply going to read it, of course, and fill in with your particular information. Okay, so I'll go ahead first, of course. So hi, my name is L'Oreal. You can call me Larry. I'm currently taking Bloody Mary's free English language proficiency training. So prior to working from home, I worked, or I'm still working as a BPO trainer. I am familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, some CRMs, tolerance softphones, calendar management, task management, administrative tasks, so on and so forth. And during my spare time, I actually love watching series, reading books as well. Listening to music is actually the thing that I'm most fond of these days, and playing with my dog as well. So those are the things that I'm fond of during my spare time. So there. Okay, so you just simply need to provide some basic information about you and just follow the script that we do have here. Okay, so anyone who would like to go first, if there's anyone, if there's anyone who would like to go first, you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. But if there's none, that's fine. I'll just call some of you guys to do the particular introduction. Anyone who would like to go first? No one is raising their hand. It's totally fine. You might still be a bit shy since it's just the start of the training. That's okay. I'll just call someone then. Okay, let me call some people who will be doing their introduction. Okay, let me hear it from, let me see. Florencia Mariano.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Maria Florencia Bonifacio Mariano. You can call me Florence. I am currently taking Bloody Mary's free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I work as office staff before. I work as office staff at canning company. Studied at University of the East in Caloocan City. I am familiar with Microsoft Office. During my spare time, I love to watch movies, Netflix, and listening to music.
Wow, what's the most recent movie that you have seen?
Netflix, I watch but
do you remember the title?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. Oh, is it in the movies or I mean in the cinemas, in the theaters that you've seen it? Because it's just a recent one, right? Wow. Okay, wow. Was it good? Is it something that you can recommend to others?
Yes. Even the first movie, the first Top Gun, I always recommend.
Oh, it's something that you always recommend. Yes. Oh, I'm quite intrigued now because I keep on seeing that as well, that particular movie, like the trailer. Oh, okay. I see. Thank you very much for that, Florence.
Thank you.
Good job, good job. Yes, someone is doodling on the screen. Go ahead. As long as you will not be blocking anything that's that needs to be read. Okay, but yes, thank you very much for that, Florence.
Okay.
Let me have another person do their introduction. Good job, Florence. Thank you. How about you, Hannah? Hannah Portan.
Hi.
Hi, yes. I love the voice.
Hi, my name is Hannah Porteng. You can call me Hannah. I am currently taking Bloody Mary free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I work as HR data entry specialist in Infinite O. I am familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, admin tasks, task management. During my spare time, I love watching movies, playing chess, hiking.
Wow, playing chess. That's something that I don't hear often from other people. Was that something that you have acquired ever since on your younger days?
Yeah. Actually, I'm an athlete, chess athlete. When I was in school year.
Oh, wow. That's not something that's actually common. Wow, I see. I see. I see. Is that difficult to actually um the competition for chess? Is it very brutal?
Um, for me is I'm not it's not because I love doing analyzing um so especially in especially in when you strategize some movement in chess, how to checkmate the opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe there will really be a lot of thinking and strategies that you need to think about. So you still play up until now?
In online chess.
I see. With online chess, your opponent is that like the computer, or do you have someone who's like a real person that you are actually competing with, but just through online?
There's a international people. I
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Is that something official or something that you just do on your own spare time?
in my own spare time only.
I see. I see. That's nice. That's so cute that you still are doing something that you actually excel at and you're good at. I see. Thank you very much for that, Hannah. That's something interesting that I get to know about. Thank you. Good
Thank
job
you.
as well. You're welcome. Okay, let me hear more voices as well from some of you. How about you, Miguel? Miguel Avicila or Avicilia? I'm not sure. Miguel
Hi, it's Miguel Avicilia.
Avicia. Avicia?
Avicilia.
Avicilia, I see. Okay. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, I just got in. So
Oh,
I just
mhm.
have to introduce myself, right?
That's right. You just simply need to follow the script that we have here.
All right. So hi, my name is Miguel. You can call me Migs. For short, I am currently taking Blog Mary's free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I worked as a front office associate in a five-star hotel here in Manila. And I am familiar with Microsoft Office, um, calendar management, some minor administrative tasks, graphic design, and some basic video and photo editing. And during my spare time, I love watching YouTube videos or binge watching in Netflix. So yeah.
Wow, thank you very much for that, Nix. And you mentioned that you previously worked as a front office staff in a
Yes.
five-star hotel before. How long were you able to spend in that job?
Well, I started working in a hotel year 2017, and then it stopped because of the pandemic.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
That's quite long. That's quite long. Do you have plans in the future maybe to go back, or at least do you think of going back to that industry?
Not really. I'm looking to, looking to work at home full time. So
Full
yeah.
time. I see. Hopefully, you will be able to do that. The thing that you want to do, like working home
Yeah.
full time.
Mhm.
Because especially during the pandemic, like the work from home setting opened a lot of opportunities for a lot of us. So hopefully, let's see. Thank you very much for that, Mix. Good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. You can say we just started. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. What about for you? Let me hear the voice as well of Wendell. I like the name.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Windel Ann. You can call me Windel. I am currently taking Bloody Mary's free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I worked as a private school teacher. I am familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, task management, and administrative tasks. During my spare time, I love watching movies, K-dramas, and reading Wattpad.
Oh, that's a lot of
Th-
things that's really going on. Oh, you mentioned that you were a private school teacher. What subject were you teaching before?
Um, all of the subjects, I think,
Mm-hmm.
except math.
Oh, exact math. Was it for like elementary or high school students?
I teach elementary to senior high.
Oh, so all of the above. All of the
Yeah.
above then.
Yes.
Okay. So are you staying away now from the private school teacher, or do you have plans to go back to that job?
I'm currently applying to a DepEd.
Mm-hmm. Like the government agency stuff, not as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
teacher.
public school teacher, yes.
Oh, a public school teacher. I see. Oh, because yeah, there will be differences between private and public. Yeah, that's true. Well, good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck with that. Hopefully, you'll be able
Thank you.
to get that particular job of yours. You're welcome. Thank you as well for that, Lindo.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Okay, just a few more so that I'll hear more voices as well. How about for you, Irma Veth, Leah Velasco? I'm actually going through the names that are catching my eyes. Hi.
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 Hello.
Good evening. You
Yes.
can introduce?
Hi. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Irma Betlea Velasco. You can call me Leia. I am currently taking Vladimir's free English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I work as an administrative clerk. I am familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, task management, and administrative tasks. During my spare time, I love cooking, planting, and watching.
Oh, you love cooking. I see. Is that just a hobby of yours, like cooking for your loved ones, or like
It's just a
others? Oh, you
hobby.
don't have it as a type of business, like even just
Yes, for my
cooking.
kids.
Oh, just for your kids.
Yes.
What is the delicacy that you have that your kids most love?
Baby back ribs.
Oh, that's something that's not very usual with our Filipino household. I see.
Kare-kare, kare-kare, and adobo.
And I believe that not just that, I believe they would love everything that you would actually cook for them. I see. Thank you
Yes.
very much for that, Leah.
Okay, thank you.
Good job as well. Last, someone last, not really. Okay, I would love to hear the lovely voice as well of Aaron.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Aaron Paul. You can call me Aaron. I am currently taking Bloody Mary's English language proficiency training. Prior to working from home, I worked before as an assistant manager at Sinagtala Farm Resort. I am familiar with Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, task management, administrative tasks, calendar management, graphic design, video or photo editing, and some little about programming. During my spare time, I love reading books and watching uh, tutorials for self-improvement.
Wow, tutorials for self-improvement. So what type of videos are those? Self-improvement specifically for what?
For graphic design, for video or photo editing, little for programming because I'm not proficient with it, and reading books.
So basically to improve or to enhance the skills that you currently have. I see. That's nice. That's totally nice. So you did mention that you were working before as an assistant manager. So now do you plan to full-time do a work from home type of work?
Yes, ma'am. I do want full-time so I can help our family business.
So like multitasking, multiple jobs at the same time. I see. Well, that's totally true. If you're working from home, there's a lot more tasks that you can actually complete. I see. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. Thank you. Good job as well. So I would not be asking everyone to do a self-introduction because we would like spend at least an hour for that. But for those who were unable to, and for those who did as well, you will have your chance to do it again. And for those who were unable to, you have your chance to do it also, because for this particular script, so we will be asking you guys to be to record yourselves doing this particular script. Okay, so here, it does not necessarily need to be on TikTok, just in case that you're worried about that. Okay, so it could be for using other video editors as well. So here, so just record yourself reading the script and kindly send it to this particular link so that we will be able to see your progress as well and how you did initially. So I sent the particular link here on the chat box because of course we would want to take note of your progress as well. So this will be the same script that we've had earlier. So for those who were unable to try it, so you will be able to do it still. For those who were able to try it or who were able to introduce themselves already, you will have the chance to do it again. Okay, and you can add up additional stuff, additional information about you that you were unable to mention earlier or something that you would need to work on. Because in regards with the introduction earlier, you all did a good job, but of course, there will always be room for improvement, right? There are some things that you that will be better if you work more on it. For example, in regards with pronunciation, a lot of us has really, of course, local accents, Filipino accents specifically for pronunciation as well. So most obvious ones with those who were able to do it earlier were the PFs. So there were instances that a lot of the PFs gets interchanged, like for example, the word proficiency. So some of you were able to read it as proficiency. Okay, so we need to be conscious about it because sometimes it might cause misunderstanding. So even with just pronunciation. And also the tone, but that's something that we will be discussing soon as well. We'll discuss more about tone also in regards to the pitch, the pacing as well, with your punctuation marks, because there were instances that there was a period, but some of you did not stop or did not have a short pause with that, like you were continuous with your script. So that's also something that can help improve with the way on how you were introducing yourself or how you are saying a particular script, for example. So we'll get to practice that later on as well. Okay, so for now, make sure that this will be your assignment. So kindly record yourself. So doing this particular script, so you can take a screenshot, okay, for this script as well, so that you would know what to say, okay, what script to follow. And if you would want to add more information about yourselves, it's totally good, right? So at least you would be able to practice your English speaking skills more. So there. Okay. Later on, before we end the session, I'll show this particular screen again, just in case for those who were unable to capture everything, okay, that we have for the script, so that you will be able to get the full picture before we end the session later on. Okay, and since we're good with the introduction, so we'll go through with our discussion for today. So again, this will be everything about the English proficiency. So with grammar, word usage, punctuation marks, speaking English as well, written English as well. So we will be discussing all of that in this particular training. Okay, because there will be differences between the written English language and also the spoken English language. And of course, especially with grammar, for us Filipinos, right? Even though this is just our second language, we tend to be a bit of the grammar Nazis. We are very conscious about grammars. That's why there are a lot of us who are a bit scared in using or speaking the language, because we're very conscious on how the others will perceive our English skills, right? Because there's a lot who will be correcting your grammar, and that's totally fine. For me personally, I'm totally good if someone will correct my grammar, because at least I would learn, right? That, oh, this is how it should be spoken, or this is the correct grammar that I should have. So I'm very open with that. So hopefully you guys will be open with that as well. It's not really belittling you or what. They just want for it to be better, to correct, okay, whatever should be the correct grammar that should be for the English language. But before we go through with that, okay, so of course, since English is our second language, technically, there will be some phrases, or there are some phrases that we are quite familiar on, especially the English language, but it's totally incorrect. It's going to be incorrect grammar in regards with the English language, or what we call the Philippinism, because we have adapted some of the English language into our own Filipino language, or some of them are technical translations or literal translations, which is not going to be the real case. So some of them will be here so that we will be able to correct ourselves on what will be the appropriate English phrase or English words to use instead of our Philippinism. So first, the most common one, I'm sure you are using it as well. For me, I'm guilty of it as well before. We have open or close the light, open the TV, open the computer. So technically, that's going to be incorrect, since if you say open, that's going to be literal opening the exact device itself. So it should be turn on or turn off. So turn on the lights, turn on the computer, turn off the TV. Okay, so turn on the electric fan. So instead of saying open or close, so you can say turn on or turn off. We also have no parking on both sides. So it should be parking is prohibited on both sides. Okay, because no parking technically is going to be incorrect. So it should be parking would be parking is prohibited. I slept late. This is going to be incorrect in terms of grammar for the verb usage. So it should be I stayed up late last night, or I stayed up late. Okay, because I slept late, that's always going to be the case. Okay, it's always going to be the case. So I'm not coming to the party, so the word coming should be replaced with I'm not going, I'm not joining, I'm not attending. For example, instead of the word I'm not coming. So it should be I'm not going to the party, I'm not joining the party, I'm not attending the party. Also this one, time first. I'm sure you have used this once in your lives, okay? And you've heard it from kids as well whenever they're playing, right? So time first is something that's incorrect. So it should be time freeze. It will be traffic. So this is very common for us whenever someone will ask, so why are you not yet here? It's traffic. That's incorrect. Why? Because the word traffic itself will just simply refer to the moving of the vehicle. So whenever there's a vehicle that's moving, that's already traffic. Okay, so whenever that you would want to say how bad the traffic is, so you should say heavy traffic, light traffic. I'm not sure if you've noticed that on our news reports, especially during the early morning shows, they have the traffic news part, right? So they would refer to it as that heavy traffic, light traffic. Okay, so you cannot just simply say it's traffic. Okay, because traffic itself would mean that vehicles are actually moving. Okay, so you should refer to it as there's a heavy traffic. Oh wow, it's just light traffic. Light traffic meaning that there's not a lot of vehicles. Okay, if it's heavy traffic, so meaning you're clogged on the road, your vehicle cannot move that fast. Okay, so there. So traffic gets heavy during rush hours. We expect heavy traffic at noon. Okay, so don't just say it's traffic because it's always traffic, technically. Okay, technically it will always be traffic. But of course, for us Filipinos, we understand it, right? When someone says it's traffic. Okay, but for other nationalities, so what type of traffic? Is it light traffic or is it going to be heavy traffic? Okay, so these are just some of the Philippinism that we have. We have more actually. So we have here as well. So this is the long cut, not the short cut. So we don't have the term long cut, just in case, because sometimes the way that we are translating from Filipino to English are very technical. Since we know that there's a word shortcut, there might be some who's going to use the word long cut. Okay, and there's no word like that. Okay, so instead of instead of saying long cut, you can use long method, long process, but shortcut itself is valid. So you really have the word shortcut, but there's no term such as long cut. Okay, just in case. I know sometimes it gets used as a joke, but some people might not consider it as a joke. Okay, they might accept it as the real thing. Oh, long cut. Okay, there's no word as that. Okay, there's no such phrase as that. So instead of saying long cut, you can use long method, long process. Okay, and then shortcut. You can use as well short method, short process. It's taken care of. So here in terms of the verb usage, so instead of it's taken care of, it's taken care of, or it's been fixed. I'll repeat again. This is redundant because repeat means doing it again, right? So I'll repeat again will be redundant. So if you say I'll repeat, just that. You don't need to put the word again. Okay, so I'll repeat, I'll do it again, I'll show it again, or whatever the action would be. So just I'll repeat, I'll say it again, I'll restate that for you, I'll do it again. Okay, but you cannot have them together, the repeat and again. And this is something that's quite common. You might hear it a lot of times. I'll repeat it again. Okay, that's going to be very redundant. Okay, so if it's just repeat, just that word, you don't need to put again. Okay, we also have mulling. So this is something that we commonly use, right? I'm sure there are some of you who are guilty in using the term mulling. Where are you going? Or what will you do to the mulling? That's not a real word. Okay, it's not a real word. So instead of saying mulling, you can say shopping. Okay, next we have get a free gift. Just like with I'll repeat again, this is going to be very redundant because the gift itself is already free. So if you say get a free gift, get a free gift. Okay, gift itself is already free. There is no gift that will have an amount. That's why we say it's a gift because it's free. Okay, it's a present. Okay, so if you're going to say that, just get a gift. You don't need to say free. because yes, it's already free because it's a gift. Okay, that's going to be redundant, just like with I'll repeat again. Also, this one, we're very, 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 very guilty about this. We have the next week or next week, next week. We just simply count how many next there will be for the week, right? If it says 4 weeks, so we just count for next week. Okay, so that's not a real thing in the English language. So instead of saying next week, we can say the week after next, or 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now. Okay, instead of saying next week. Okay, so the week after next. Also, these set of words, so in terms of the singular versus plural usage, so we don't have these words. These words are non-existing. Fats, homeworks, stuffs, foods. These words does not have letter S on them. So for these words, it will have the same set of words for the singular or its plural usage. It's just fat, homework, stuff, and then food. Okay, so the singular or plural usage will be the same. So fat, it can either be singular or plural. Homework as well. Stuff, especially. Stuff is the most common one, and food as well. Stuff and food are always the most common ones that tends to be used incorrectly. I'm sure you've heard that as well. Stuffs or foods. Okay, so there's no such words as that. So it should just be stuff or food. Okay, it's already going to be used both on the singular and plural sense. It just depends on your context. It just depends on your sentence. If it's going to be considered as singular or if it's going to be considered as its plural usage. Okay. Also, I'll go ahead. So this is also going to be redundant. So don't put the ahead because you're already going. So of course, you're going ahead. So it's just I'll go. Okay. So these are the most common ones that we have in terms of Philippinism versus the English language, especially these words, the next week, the I'll repeat again, free gift as well, traffic also, and also the opener close. So those are really the most common ones that I'm sure we've been guilty for at least once in our lives. Okay, but now at least we know, okay, that these are the terms that should be used instead. Okay, okay. So there. So these are the common Filipinesian contexts that we do have. Okay, and of course, we'll be moving on to our English grammar. Okay, for our English grammar, we'll go through the different parts of our sentences. So we'll have the articles, we'll have nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives as well, really the basic ones, so that we will be able to refresh ourselves about it, when to use it, when to properly use it, when should we not use it, and what will be the correct usage of these particular parts of a sentence. So we'll start first with the most common one, which is of course our nouns. Before I proceed though, just in case that you will have questions, okay, you can raise your hand, you can send in your questions as well so that we will be able to address it, okay, if ever that you do have questions. So don't hesitate. If ever that you will have questions, I'll address them as long as you have questions, okay? But if not, I'll continue. So nouns, of course, it's going to be indicating the name of a person, place, thing, idea, state, or quality. So we have a lot of different types of nouns. You'll have different for classification. You have for gender nouns as well. We have, yes, we have feminine nouns, we have masculine nouns, we have neutral nouns also. We also have common nouns, proper nouns, mass nouns. So we'll be discussing a lot of them as we go along the discussion itself. Okay, especially with gender nouns. Because for us Filipinos, we actually have the tendency to interchange the gender forms of a pronoun. So when to use his, her, him, her, sometimes in a sentence itself, if someone is pertaining, for example, to a girl, in a particular sentence, or in just one sentence, you'll hear both he, she, him, her. So we're not that conscious. Okay, we're not that conscious in regards with the gender forms of a pronoun. That's why a lot of times, especially um, on my end, because like what I've mentioned earlier, right? I also am a BPO trainer, so we do some interviews from time to time for applicants in terms of their language proficiency. And whenever there are applicants who are, for example, telling a story or answering questions, this is one of the most common that is actually getting incorrect by the applicants in terms of the gender usage. They tend to mix everything in just one sentence or in just one phrasing. So it's better if we can be more conscious about it. If we're talking about a girl, so we can use the feminine pronouns. If we're talking about a guy, for example, so we need to specifically stick with our masculine pronouns so that it will not be confusing as well to the person who's actually listening to us, right? Because if you interchange from one subject to another, from one pronoun to another, that might be a bit confusing for some people who will be actually listening to whatever you're saying. Okay. So how do we decide when to use the right pronouns? Okay, so some of the key pointers when deciding on what pronoun to use is, of course, the gender and the number. So are they feminine, masculine, or are we using the neutral one? Or for numbers, of course, are we pertaining to a single person or are we pertaining to a group of people? Okay, singular versus plural, because of course we will have different set of pronouns to use as well. If it's going to be singular, we will have different set of pronouns as well. If it's going to be for a group of people or the plural form that we are actually pertaining to. Apart from the gender and the number rather, we also have the point of view. Okay, are we pertaining to the first person, second person, or third person? Okay, because if it's the first person that you're pertaining to, you are pertaining to yourself. You're pertaining to the speaker or the writer, which is of course going to be you. Okay, so you are pertaining to yourself. Because if you are pertaining to yourself, first person basis, so these are the set of pronouns that we can use. Both the singular and the plural form will be here already. So we have I, me, mine, our, ours, us, and we. We and we. Okay, so these are the set of pronouns that we can actually use if it's going to be the first person. Okay, my name is Larry. This book is mine. Right? But of course, if you are not pertaining to the first person, for example, you are pertaining to other people, it could either be the second person or it could be the third person. So what will be the difference between the second and the third person? So for the second person, so it would always refer to the reader, to the intended audience, or to the one you are actually speaking with. Okay, or to your listener. Okay, so second person always refers, will always refer to that. The intended audience, the person that you are talking to, the reader, the listener. So a speaker or writer should use second person pronouns when speaking directly to the reader or the intended audience. So the different pronouns that we do have for second person will be you, your, and yours. Okay, later on we'll have a more deep discussion in regards with the different set of pronouns, especially for possessive form, the plural form. Okay, later on we'll have more of that. So you, your, and yours as well. And of course, if we have the second person, we'll also have the third person. For the third person, they are neither the speaker, they're neither the reader or the listener as well. They're not part of the group. So they're totally other set of people. That's not the person or who are not the group of people who you are actually speaking to. Okay, so they're not the speaker, they're not also the listener or the intended audience. They're the others. Okay, so third person refers to others who are not the speaker or the one being spoken to. And we have a lot of pronouns that we can use depending if it's going to be a singular form or it's going to be the plural form. So we have he, him, his, she, her, hers, it, its, they, them, their, and theirs. Okay. So depending if it's going to be plural, if it's going to be singular, or are you referring to the female pronoun? Are you referring to someone who's male, or are you using the neutral form? Or are you talking about a group of people? Okay, and let's be more conscious about it, that if, for example, you're telling a story and the story that you're talking about is about a girl. So make sure that the pronouns that you're going to use are just the feminine form of pronouns. Okay, don't interchange it with he, they, if it's just a single person, because again, that will be very confusing with your listener. Okay, because of course, you, the speaker, you would be able to understand everything that you're actually saying, right? That this is what you're pertaining to, or she's the person that you're pertaining to. But for the listener, that might be confusing if you are going to interchange your pronouns, if you're going to interchange the information that you are actually providing. So let's be more conscious about it. Okay, both of course on the speaking English and also the written English. Okay, so here we have he, him, his for the masculine form of the pronoun, she, her, hers for the feminine, it, its. Neutral, we can others use as well, they, them, their, and theirs. So that's going to be for the plural usage as well. Okay. So there. So those are some of the key pointers that we do have for us to be able to distinguish. Okay, and know exactly what will be the correct pronoun for me to actually use. Okay, so apart from nouns, apart from pronouns as well, so of course, we also have verbs. And this is also something that's very common. This is very common in terms of grammar lapses, is in regards with the verb usage, especially in using the different tenses of the verbs, when to use the present tense, when to use the past tense, the future tense as well. Okay, sometimes it is going to be like going from present to past tense to present. Okay, or the correct verb as well to use. Okay, what's the correct past tense of this verb? Sometimes that's something that is a lapse as well in our grammar usage. So first off, what is a verb? So verbs are words that would express an action, occurrence, or a state of a being, of course. So any action words that we do have, it's going to be a verb: eating, running, sleeping, walking, standing, sitting, right? So as long as it would indicate an action, so that's going to be our verbs. So we do have a lot of different types of verbs. So you have transitive, you also would have intransitive verb. Okay, we also have linking verbs, helping verbs. So we have all of these different types of verbs that we can actually use. So for our helping verbs, so these are your auxiliary verbs and also modal verbs that commonly don't tend to focus much. Okay, but these are also something that's very common. So our helping verbs, they are something that would help the main verb to extend its meaning or to further broaden the information that it is giving to us. So they can also add detail in regards to the time. Is it a past tense? Is it a present tense? Is it something that will happen in the future? Okay, so we have here our auxiliary verbs. So for the to be action am, is, are, was, were, be, been. So again, for am, this is only used for the pronoun I. We don't use it in any other pronouns as well. We don't say you am, she am, right? So it's only for the pronoun I, okay? Because sometimes there are some who might use it in a different pronoun. So do take note that for the verb am, this is only used after the pronoun I. Okay, and of course, if it's going to be the present form of the tense, because we have here am, is, are for the present form, right? We also have was, were for the past form of the tense. We also have be, been for the other tenses types. Okay, also to have, has, had. So that's something that will add up to the verbs or to the main verbs as well, depending on the type of tense that we would like to convey. Is it the present participle, the past present participle? Okay, and also for the to do, we have do, does, and did. Okay, so for the do, does, did, so it depends. Is it going to be the present tense? Is it going to be the past tense? And if it's going to be singular or the plural form of the verb. So later on, we'll have as well the singular and plural form of the verbs. Yes, even verbs has singular or plural forms. So we'll discuss more later about that. So for now, just a preview of some of the verbs that we will be going through later on. Okay, also for the modal verbs, we have can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, or ought to. So depending on the information that we would like to relate to the listener. Okay, so some of them, they are not interchangeable. They will have its own meaning. They will have its own usage as well. The intensity, okay, of the information that you would like to provide, depending on the usage of these words. Okay, like for example, the can versus may. So the may is like a form of a please, can you please give me this information? But for can, it's like, you should give me this information. Okay, but we'll discuss more about that later on, especially with the verb usage, the singular, plural usage, present, past tense as well, and when to use these particular verbs, and also in relation with its pronouns. Okay, because sometimes it's the pronoun plus the verb usage that is commonly getting incorrect. You might hear a lot of after the pronoun you, what are the type of verbs that are getting used? Okay, after I, what are the type of verbs that can be used? After she, he, what verbs can be used after these particular pronouns? Because again, these verbs, they are not interchangeable. Okay, you cannot use am now and then later on you're going to use is for the same pronoun, or you're going to use are. Okay, so they're not interchangeable. They will have their own set of usage as well. So later on, we'll discuss more about that. So apart from verbs, again, if you have questions, just send in your questions, raise your hand so that we will be able to address it. So apart from verbs, we also have our adverbs. Okay, so these are actually types of verbs that we do have. So what are adverbs? So for adverbs, they are words that will describe a verb. Okay, later on we'll have adjectives as well. So adjectives and adverbs, they are what we call modifiers. So they are the modifiers that would describe other words. So first is the adverb. So for adverbs, they would describe a verb or another adverb or an adjective as well. Okay. Now, for adverbs, they would mostly end in ly, but not all of them. Okay, not just because it would end in ly, it's automatically an adverb. So for adverbs, commonly they would answer the set of questions when, where, how many times, and to what extent. So these are just some of the common questions that can be answered by an adverb, or to help the verb, the adjective, or another adverb more. So these are just some of the examples that we do have for an adverb. So we have tomorrow, later, yesterday, soon for the when question. For the word question, we have here, there, everywhere. For the how, gradually, gently, loudly, softly. So how many times? Sometimes, often. And for what extent? We have nearly, almost, very, and quite. Okay, so these are just some of the adverbs that we can use to describe another verb, another adjective, or another adverb. Okay. Like for example, he often runs in the track. So how many times this person runs? So he often runs in the track. Okay, or he sometimes run in the track. So it depends on the question that we do have. So depending if it's when, where, how many times, or to what extent. Okay, or for example, how does she speak? She speaks very gently. She speaks very loudly. Okay, so these are the words that can describe verbs, adverbs, or another adjective as well. So again, depending on your question. Okay. So there, later on, we'll also have adjectives. Okay, but another part of the sentence that we do have is what we call the articles. So for an article, this word is used to modify a noun, which is of course person, place, object, or idea. It's also a form of an adjective. It introduces a noun. So we only have 3 types of articles. We have the or the, depending on the word that will be after it, a and an. Okay, and they will have their own usage. They are not interchangeable. Okay, these 3 articles are not interchangeable. You cannot use an for a word that should be used with an article. Likewise, you cannot use a article for a word that should be used with an article. And for the article, so we have its own specific usage for this one as well. Okay, so first for the article the, so we will be using this when talking about specific things in singular or plural objects. So if it's pertaining to a specific object, a specific noun. Okay, so the article is going to be used for the word the, again, referring directly to a specific noun, specific object, specific group of nouns. Okay, for example, what animal? I'm thinking of an animal. Okay, for example, the dogs in the park. Okay, so we're pertaining particularly to the dogs in the park specifically, or the freckles on my face. The coffee place on the other street. That's right, the cat in the tree, on the tree rather. Okay, so if we are pertaining to a specific object, a specific noun, either if it's going to be singular or plural. So for the article the, so we can use either singular or plural subjects. Okay. No, that's totally fine. Okay, so it should be direct and specific. Okay, unlike for the articles a and an, so these are what we call indefinite articles, because for these articles, the noun that we are referring to is not something specific. Okay, it's not going to be something specific. It's not a specific person, place, object, or idea, but it can also be any noun from a group of nouns. For example, let me see. Okay, an event in the history. So if we say an event in history, we don't know what specific event it is, right? It's not going to be a specific event. So what type of event are you pertaining to? If there's a specific event that I'm pertaining to, for example, the Christmas day. So that's a specific event, right? But since it's very general that I'm just pertaining to event, what type of event it is, we don't know. So we are going to use either the articles or an. Now, what will be the difference between the two? For article a, the word that would follow should start with a consonant sound. Again, it should be a sound, okay, not the spelling. Okay, don't care about the spelling, whether it's consonant or vowel. We care about the sound that it would produce. So if it starts with a consonant sound, so we will be using the article a. But if it's going to be a vowel sound that will follow the article, we will be using the article an. For example, an apple, since it would start with letter A. An orange, okay, an eggplant. But if it would start with a consonant sound, then we will be using the article a car, a tree, a book, a bag. Okay, depending on the word that would follow. And again, take note, it should be the sound that you will be checking, not the spelling. Okay, it should be the sound that we will be pertaining to. Okay, even if, for example, the spelling would start with a consonant letter, but the sound itself would start with a vowel sound. So we will still be using the article an. Okay. So there. Okay, so we have these three articles. We have the, and an, and they will have their own specific usage. If you are pertaining to something that's specific, a specific noun, a direct noun, you're going to use the article the, whether it's singular or plural. But if it's not something specific, it's just a general form of noun or a general form of pronoun. So we will be using the articles a or an. Okay, depending on what word would follow next. Again, if it will be followed with a consonant sound, article a. If it will be followed with a vowel sound, so we're going to use article an. Okay, so there. That's totally fine. Okay, now apart from our articles, so we also have prepositions. So this is also part of our sentences or parts of our speech, of course, especially prepositions. This is something that you might not be that conscious on, but it will be something that you are always using in your sentences. So preposition describes relationships such as space, time, clause, or manner between its object and other words in a sentence. Okay, if we don't use the correct preposition, so there might be some misinterpretations that might happen in the information that we are pertaining to. So we have a lot of different prepositions. We have for the prepositions of place, preposition of movement, time or date, other prepositions as well, and the functional preposition. So for preposition of place, we have at, on, in. For movement, we have to, towards. Time or date, we have in, on. For other preposition, for, since, while, during, over, within. And functional preposition, we also have with. The most common one that might be used incorrectly are these three. When to use the prepositions at, on, and in. Okay, for the prepositions of place, when are we going to use on? When are we going to use in? When are we going to use at? Okay, so these are the most common ones that might be used incorrectly. So let me give some tips for these three sets of preposition. For the preposition at, okay, we are going to use preposition at if we are pertaining to a specific address. Specific address, meaning with the numbers and everything. Like for example, I live at block this and that. Okay, I live at block 27, lot 58. Okay. Boretz Road, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if it's going to be a specific address. Okay, if it's a specific address, we're going to use preposition at. But if it's not specific, so we will have different prepositions to use either on or in. They will have their own usage as well. But apart from specific addresses, we also use preposition at if we are pertaining to a point of place or location. For example, at the corner, at the bottom of the page, at the left side of the page, at the center of the road, at the bus stop. Okay, if it's a point of place or location. At the corner. Okay, so the usage of preposition at is either it's going to be for a specific address or it's going to be for a point of place or location as well. Okay, like he lives at Purok 2, Barangay Dos. Whatever address do we have? Okay, again, if it's going to be a specific address, we're going to use the preposition at. Okay, you're not going to use on or in for that. Or if it's just going to be a point of place or location. At the corner, at the right side of the street, at the center of the road. Okay. But if it's going to be for article on, when are we going to use article on? So we are going to use article on, of course, the most common one for surfaces, right? It's on the table. It's on the desk. Okay, I stuck it on the wall. Okay, to indicate that a particular object is on a particular surface. That's right. I put the pillow on the chair. Okay, that's right. Apart from that, we also use article on for directions. Okay, the mall is on the left. Okay, the building is on the right. Okay, if you're going to give out directions, you're also going to use article on. It's on the left, it's on the right. It's on the back of the building. Okay. Apart from that, we also use article on since we said that for article at, we're going to use that for specific addresses, right? For article on, it's not for specific addresses, but if, for example, we are pertaining to names of streets, avenues, for example, so he's on Pasay Road, he's on Makati Road. Okay, so if we are pertaining to those particular information. So at is for specific addresses, while for article on, it's going to be for names of streets, avenues, cities, for example. Okay, it's from Ortigas Street. It's from Pasay Street. Okay, it's on streets, avenues, Makati Avenue. That building is on Makati Avenue. Okay, so there's something general. While for article at, it's a specific address. On is going to be for names of streets, avenues, and other types of information as well. While for the article in, the IN. For article in, it's going to be for spaces. Okay. Also for bodies of water, lines as well. For example, my bag is in the room. Okay, because a room is not a surface, right? It's going to be a space. But if we say my bag is on the floor, a floor is a surface, right? That's why we are using article on instead of article in. So if we're pertaining to spaces, bodies of water as well, it's in the sea, it's in the lake, okay? Lines as well, so we will be using article in for that. Also, in relation to addresses that we have for article at or on, article in will be used instead for names of land areas. For example, towns, states, counties, countries, continents. It's in Asia, it's in America, it's in France. it's in the Philippines. It's in Pasay. It's in Makati. I love using Pasay, right? Okay, there. So towns, counties, states, countries, and continents. So any land areas. Okay, that will be used for the article in. So articles at, on, and in, they will have their own specific usage if it's pertaining to a place. Okay, again, at will be for specific addresses. For article on, it will be for streets, avenues. For article in, it will be for land areas. So land areas pertaining to countries, cities, towns, continents. Okay, so that will be the usage of the article at, on, and in. Okay, if we are pertaining to the prepositions of place. You saw me on TikTok. Am I on TikTok? I'm not on TikTok. Am I on TikTok? I don't know. I don't think I'm on TikTok. Am I? Then I don't know then why. But really? My face or just my voice? If it's my voice, I think so. But if it's my face, I don't think so. My face? Do they know my face? Oh my gosh, am I? Maybe my voice, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't really use it that much, so I'm not really sure. But if I am, then I don't know what it is. But anyway, for the usage of the preposition, I see. I'm like, what's the correct preposition to use? Yes, on. That's right. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I on TikTok? I'm like, I'm not using TikTok. Why am I on TikTok? That's right. It's on Facebook, on Twitter. That's correct. See. Okay, that's right. If you're going to pertain to social medias, for example, so there. It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram. Yes, I believe Bloody Mary is on TikTok. That's why the introduction assignment earlier that you will have, so you can use TikTok for that as well. Okay, there. That's correct. Very good. Okay, so there. But of course, we do have other prepositions that we can use as well, but depending on the information that we have. If we're pertaining to a movement, she's moving towards you. Okay, time or date, and on other prepositions as well. Functional preposition, the with preposition. Okay, but the most common ones that is very confusing what to use is going to be the at, on, and in. But now we know when to use at, on, or in, right? So there. So hopefully that's something that you can be more conscious about in regards with our at, on, and in. Okay. Of course, apart from adverbs earlier, we did mention that we also have adjectives, right? But before we go through with the comparative and superlative form of the adjective, so for our adjectives, since we did mention earlier that for adverbs, they are used to describe a verb, an adverb, or an adjective, right? Now, what about for an adjective? For an adjective, they are used to describe nouns or pronouns. Okay, they are getting used to describe nouns or pronouns. So some example, I'm sure that you've heard beautiful, pretty, she's a pretty girl, right? It's a beautiful dress. Any opinions or qualities as well? Colors, they can be used as an adjective as well. Origins, materials. Now, for adjectives, we can have multiple adjectives in one sentence. Okay, we are not limited that one adjective per noun or pronoun. Okay, no. So we can have a lot of adjectives in one sentence. That's why we have what we call the order of adjectives. Okay, for the order of adjectives, because again, there would be instances that we might have multiple, like more than 5 adjectives in one sentence. So we have an order that we follow. I sent it here on the chat box. So we have what we call the ODASCOM or the QDASCOM that we follow in terms of the order of adjectives. So what are these acronyms? What's the ODASCOM or the QDASCOM? First off, for the O or Q, that will be for what we call the opinion or quality. So if ever that there would be an opinion or quality on the adjectives that we have for a particular noun or pronoun, you would always start with opinion or quality. For example, amazing, beautiful, pretty. Okay, those are all opinions, right? Because of course, not something that might be amazing for you might not be amazing for other people. Something that's beautiful for you might not be beautiful for other people, right? Something that's not pleasant for you might not be pleasant for other people. So there. For letter D, that would stand for dimension. So round, square. Okay. So depending on the dimension that you have. For age, for A, rather, that's going to be for age. So opinion, quality, dimension, age, ancient, old, young. So that's going to be for the age. For S, that's going to be for size. So thin, thick, long, short. Okay. And then das, C. For letter C, that's going to be for color. Red, blue, purple, maroon. Okay, and then for letter O, that's going to be for origin. Spanish, French, Italian. Okay, and then lastly, for the order of adjectives, we also have letter M. Letter M would be for material. Okay, so antique, wood, for example, plastic, glass. Okay, so there. So that's the order of adjectives that we do have. And yes, it should be followed so that it will not be confusing for what adjective or what word are you actually referring to or are you describing as well. So O or Q, opinion or quality, D for dimension, A for age, S for size, C for color, O for origin, M for material. Okay, so that should always be the order of adjective that should be followed. But of course, it's not always going to be the case that all of these adjectives will be present in one sentence, right? So sometimes it's just 2, 3 adjectives. So just make sure to follow this particular order that we have. Okay. Like, for example, we have just beautiful and green. It's a beautiful green car. We cannot say it's a green, beautiful car. Okay, it should be the opinion or coloring first and then the color after. Okay, let's have an example. I'll be listing out some adjectives. For example, we're pertaining to a car. Okay, let me list out some adjectives that we have, and then anyone who can give the order for the set of adjectives that I will have. And I have more. There, for example, I have this 6 adjectives. I have big, antique, green, French, beautiful, and old to describe a car. So what will be the correct order for this 6 adjectives, for these 6 adjectives that I have? So following the OQ DASCOM. Some of them are not there, of course. Okay. If, for example, there's no color, so skip the color, move to the other order of the adjective. So this is what we have, OQ.com. Should we use all of them? Yes, of course. All 6. All 6 to describe a car. So what order should be followed for these 6 adjectives? Let me give you a few minutes. You can just send it here on the chat box. I'll give you a few minutes to go through it. So we have big, we have antique, we have green, we have French, we have beautiful, and also old. So what's an opinion or quality? What's a dimension? What's an age? What's a size? Do we have a color? Do we have an origin? Do we have a material as well? Beautiful, old, antique, big, green, French car. Yeah, no need to put commas for that. How about for the others? Beautiful. There's a lot. Beautiful, antique, old, big, green French car. Big, antique, beautiful, green French car. Beautiful, old, big, green French antique car. Beautiful, old, big, green French car. Beautiful, big, green, old French antique car. Okay, beautiful, old, antique, big, green French car. Okay, let's see. Okay, wow, I appreciate all the answers. Beautiful, old, big French antique green car. Beautiful, old, big, green French antique car. Oh, some of you have the same set of answers. Some of you have different ones as well. Let's see. Okay, let's see. What is this? Okay, so for the set of adjectives that we were able to provide, so we had 6, right? So 2, 4, 6, 7. We have 7 for the order of adjectives. So of course, there will be some that might not be indicated. So first, let's start with opinion or quality. Do we have an opinion or quality there? Yes, that's right. What's our opinion or quality? It's going to be beautiful, right? That's correct. So we start with beautiful. Very good. Okay, now after opinion or quality, do we have a dimension? What's a dimension? It would state if it's going to be, what will be the shape? Okay, is it round? Is it squarey? Okay, that's right. We actually don't have a dimension. What about big? Big is going to be a size. Okay, so we don't have a dimension there. So we skip the dimension. Okay, how about the age? Do we have an age there? Very good. We have old, right? So it's beautiful, old. Good job. What about the size? So just like we said, it's the big. So for size, it's big, small, short, okay, thin, thick. Okay, there. Next, for the order OQ das, com, C. Okay, we have color. Color, of course, green. Okay, I don't think there's a question with the color, right? Next, origin. Do we have an origin? Very good. We have French. And lastly, material. That's going to be antique. Yes, antique is not an age. Okay, antique is not going to be an age. It's going to be considered as a material. Very good. So we have beautiful old big green French antique car. There. Okay, good job. Most of you rather, were able to get it. Very good. Okay, so there. So that it will be easier for the listener as well to be able to understand the adjectives that you are actually giving. Okay, or that you are using to describe a particular noun or pronoun. So always take note of that. The OQ DASCOM. Okay, or the O DASCOM. Okay, so there. So that's our order of adjectives. Again, opinion, quality, dimension, age, size, color, origin, and material. Okay, that's always the order that we should be following. Okay, okay. There. Okay, so hopefully in the future when you're going to describe something, so always take note of these particular order of adjectives first. Okay, cannot say, oh, it's a green, beautiful car. That's incorrect. Okay, it should be a beautiful green car. Okay, it's a big green car. Cannot say it's a green big car. That sounds wrong. First off, that sounds wrong. Right? So there's something that would always sound better. So there. So take note of the order that should be followed as well. Okay. And then, of course, we have our comparatives and superlatives for our adjectives. So it depends if we are comparing something. Okay. If we are comparing two things, or are we comparing more than two nouns or pronouns? So that's when our comparative and superlative adjectives would come in. Okay. So comparative, if we're just comparing two nouns or pronouns, two nouns. Okay, but if it's going to be more than two, then we are going to use the superlative. This is where the ER-EST would come in. Okay. Or the more versus most. Okay, so it's either you're going to add more or most on the adjective, or you're going to add the ER or EST, or sometimes it's a different form. Okay, like for example, thin, you would say thinner, thinnest, right? Thick, thicker, thickest. But if you say beautiful, you would say more beautiful, most beautiful, right? Or it could be a totally different word. For example, for good, for the word good, what will be the comparative form of the word good? Better, very good. You don't say more good or most good, right? Good job. So you would say better. What about the superlative form of the word good? Best. Yeah, so good, better, best, right? What about for the word bad? For the word bad, what is the comparative form of the word bad? Worse. That's right. That's correct. Worse. The WORSE. Good job. While the worst is going to be the superlative form. That's right. So bad, worse, worst. You don't say badder or baddest. Okay. Though at times, the badder or baddest is getting used as well, but it's better to use the proper ones, which is the bad, worse, worst. Okay, my days is worse today than yesterday. Today is the worst of all days. Okay, but if you're just comparing two, it's the comparative one. But if you're comparing more than two, that's going to be the superlative one. Okay, so there, good job. Okay, so later on, we'll have more, especially in terms of the adjectives, the comparatives, superlative. For the verbs as well, we'll actually go back to verbs later on in terms of the present, past tense usage. When to use them, what are the correct past and present form, or rather the future form of a tense. So we'll have that later on. But for now, that's actually everything that I have for you guys for today. So before I actually let you guys go, let me show you this to you guys again. So your assignment for today. So assignment for today, so there's a record yourself. So doing this particular introduction, so you can just simply take a screenshot of this particular script. So even for those who have already done it, so it's going to be better, of course, for you to be able to practice yourselves more, right? So you can add additional information apart from what you're already seeing now. At least you would be able to practice more your speaking language, right? And you'd be able to speak more in the English language so that you will be more familiar with it. So there. Okay, and kindly send it to this particular link, which I sent here earlier, but let me send it again today, just in case. So there. Okay, so that's everything that I have for you guys for today, but we'll have more and more and more and more tomorrow. We'll have more related to English grammar, of course, for tomorrow, and more practice on your speaking skills as well. I'll talk to you guys again for tomorrow's session, of course, same time, 6 p.m. still. So thank you very much for those who were able to attend the session today, and I hope you were able to get something out of this short session that we've had. And I'll meet you guys again later, or tomorrow rather. Okay, I'll meet you guys again tomorrow. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you as well. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.